second fire jump I was ever on, and we had a very large rookie training class at that time because the war was beginning to have an effect on the military types, and so we had like 35, which was a very big class. And it was a lousy fire year, which obviously a lousy fire year means we didn't have any fires. And so we welcomed them when they came. We had a C-46, which is the same airplane that it's called a Curtiss is the manufacturer, but they were a big World War II plane that was quite a bit bigger than a DC-3 or a C-47, but same type of thing. It was the one that's mainly associated with the Burma and the flying of the hump over the hump in World War II into China, and bringing all those supplies in. But it was virtually a pig of an airplane. None of us liked it, and it could haul at least 20 we had on it. I would say we probably had as many as 24 at one time on it. But the way that it flew in the air was just kind of squishy and caused a hell of a lot of sickness, air sickness, which is not a fun thing. The same guy I'm talking about, this Hal Samsel that I mentioned on there, one guy, one of the rookie types, and they made us all sit in the front of the plane. It's probably a 100-degree day, and we're going to a fire that is the next ridge over from the top of Mann Gulch. That really didn't mean much to us at the time. And even me, knowing of it or whatever, the connection for what, it was never talked about. So, didn't think about that. But we came in over this, to the jump area, and of the 24 that jumped, one of them landed on the back of an elk. Nothing happened to me. I mean, it was perfectly normal, easy as it gets. There were two of them in one of the sticks that went out, and one of them, both of them were from Missoula here. One of them was a track star in high school who was a long distance runner, and he probably didn't weigh more than 130 pounds, which was below the minimum supposedly, but because he was such a good athlete, I think everybody looked the other way. And the other one ended up being the Big Sky Conference shot put champion. So he's bigger than he's supposed to be, the other one's smaller than they're supposed to be. He came to, the big one came just down, boom, and hits. The little guy went above the airplane with the updraft. So he's sitting up there and the airplane's out there circling around because it couldn't come through while he's still hanging in the air. And he was up there for 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes just hanging there with no way to get there. He came down. We get to the cargo drop. And at that time, there was always something different each year trying to improve on the delivery system of the cargo and carry as much as you can or separate it, make it as space efficient as you possibly could. Well, that year they had come up with these boxes that were probably about 7 or 8 feet long, fairly narrow, maybe about a foot high. And they would stack them one on top of the other in the door so they could get more of them out at the same time. And these were just mainly the tools and all that were in there. They came in to make about halfway through their drop, and they kicked these 4 of them out. One of the boxes in its chute, the box went over the tail, where the rudder, the elevators are, and the chute was open under the tail. So you have this box on top of the elevator, beating the elevator to where the plane is uncontrollable in terms of what the pilots are. It's still flying straight in there, but inside the yoke, they can't touch it. They can't do anything with it. It's just beating back and forth. It's beating itself. And it's heading down towards Helena. But the mountain's falling away faster than they're going down. So at least they had several thousand feet anyway that way, and they weren't going to climb up the mountain, they would have gone down into the Missouri River if it had kept going that way. But the friction finally wore it off. And so it popped loose. They didn't come back. They went right straight into Helena to see what kind of damage they had. Both of them quit right there. Pilots, this is, I'm out of here. This is my day. They left the airplane there. They had to send another one over with the rest of our supplies that they brought into it. And that was my second, third, probably about maybe fourth introduction to Mann Gulch. Because one of the foremen asked if anybody wanted to walk out that way. Because you had to go over a whole nother ridge and then down through, but you could go down through the whole Mann Gulch scene where they have the crosses and all the thing there. And I'd never seen it with the crosses, but when I was in grade school, Norman Maclean, who wrote the Young Men on Fire book, was a friend of my father's. They virtually lived one block apart from each other in Missoula here. Even though he's about 10, 12 years older, they knew each other, and Maclean used to hang around the airport a lot, which was the old Hale Field at that time. I don't know how he did it, but because of Dad's experience there and Maclean's interest in the Mann Gulch thing, he would fly Maclean over there in the helicopter. And I know he didn't charge him for it or anything. But a couple of those times, Dad took me along, even though I'm only, like I say, 12 years old. Because he would drop Maclean off at the top, and he was getting older then. And it's big time rattlesnake country, so he's worried that if something happens to him, there's nobody going to know. If he falls down and breaks his leg or whatever it is, who's going to know when you're not going to be able to figure out how to get him? So I'm supposed to just walk down with him, stay out of his way. Well, that's virtually what he did. He didn't really he wasn't nasty, he wasn't mean, he wasn't anything like that. It's just, he wasn't interested in a 12-year-old kid that was. So we'd walk down through there. We did that a couple times in the fall when he would come out here early fall, like early September, close to now, and then go over and go through it, and then he'd fly him back over here. That was even 10 years before he really decided to write the book. We never talked about it. And to this day, I'm really, really sad when it was just never spoken of. You know, as parents, I was always wondered, after the fact, after I got to know about Mann Gulch and knew a lot more about it, they never ever told me, no, you're not going jumping, those people are all crazy or anything like that. We don't want you doing that. Never ever.